Hey everybody! Okay, cool. Looks like we figured it out. I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen when I hit the live stream countdown because I set up an event inside of YouTube. So I was sitting there waiting to see if I had to start or if they were going to start, and apparently I'm the one who had to start. Thank you everybody for jumping in here this Thursday. I can see we already got some people who jumped in here. So, hey everybody. Yes, Chris, I am using OBS Studio, and this is brand spanking new technology for me. So I hope that it comes somewhat decent through here. Since my test run on Tuesday, I have added a few more lights. Played a little bit around with the sound, graphics, drivers for the camera and stuff like that. So I hope this is a little bit better than it was Tuesday. Dude, this is awesome. People just jumping in here. Absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate it. When I looked at the video from Tuesday's test run, there was a little bit of a lag with me fully on the screen here. But I do like this because I feel like I'm talking to you. And that's what I want to do. I don't want to do like... Webinars are awesome, but I just feel like it's a little disconnected. Like you're talking just to the computer screen, where at least here, I feel like that I'm talking to you guys. And hey, got people from Japan. We got people from all over. That is absolutely awesome. Thank you so much all for joining here. We are going to talk about Fusion 360. That is what this is pretty much about. It's not going to be so much about my ugly face here. But every question and comment are legit. So, I probably am not going to jump into like deep modeling, answering questions that way. But I definitely take any questions or comments you have. And if you have any suggestions for videos coming up on the channel, I'll take those too. I'll write them all down and we'll make sure that, any suggestions you have, we can kind of like streamline like that. That's what I want. So, hello England. We have Ohio, Iowa. This is Spain. This is awesome. Well, I'm sitting in Buffalo, New York. It's not snowing today, what is a good thing. We actually haven't gotten too much snow this winter. But yeah, just cold and kind of gray. So, hello Switzerland. Nice to see you too. Yeah, like I said, any question is absolutely legit. I want to keep this somewhat short. I don't want to make it too long. I think I rather want to do these more often than not. And I want to show a little bit of Fusion 360. Specifically today, I want to talk about settings and preferences inside of Fusion 360. A couple of people in the comments on the YouTube channel had talked about they would like to see what I had in there. And I actually remember back from my SolidWorks days, one time where I took a couple of hours and tried to go through all those options. And many times you're finding things you didn't even know was in there, right? But who has the time to really just sit down and try to find everything? So I just want to show with you today what I got going. So let me switch over to my screen here, make sure that you guys can see Fusion 360. Should just take a second here. It seems like the streaming is running just a few seconds delayed. And Aaron is on too. So Aaron is working on a quick tip on some of this stuff. What is absolutely awesome. Just want to make sure you guys can see Fusion 360 in there. It looks like it on my end. You can. Yep, awesome. That's perfect. I could also show myself down in the corner here, but I'm not really quite sure if that really does anything because I will not be looking at the camera. I'll be looking at the screen. So I think I'm just gonna, at least for right now, leave it just like this so you get the whole screen. Then I'll jump back and forth once in a while just for the fun of it. All right, so like I said, I have written down a couple of different topics we can talk about in these live streams. But I think it's really awesome that we're all live here and I can read your questions. And one of them is this preferences thing, and you go up and you click your name, and you will see that the preferences is sitting right down here. And like I said, who has the time to go in here and really dig through all the things? And I'm not gonna go through all the things either, but I just want to kind of like to share some of the things that I think is kind of important for you to consider. The first one, of course, is what language do you want? So there's a few languages in there. There's not every language in there, and I think that just makes sense because to translate into every language, I mean, think about all the things you have to do. You have to do all the menus, you have to do all the help, you have to do all the icons. So this is the ones that have kind of like been selected. So you can pick whatever is your favorite in there. The next one is graphics drivers. I am not a computer mastermind. Some people from time to time ask me for my computer recommendations for Fusion, and I really, I normally share the desktop or the laptop I'm running on. So I'm running on a Dell Precision M4800, but you know what? Honestly, I think it's probably overkill for Fusion. So when it gets into all this stuff, I kind of like back off. There's a lot of great information out on YouTube, and well, actually go to Fusion's website, I should say, for when it comes to what settings you should be running. But one thing I want to show you quickly here is when we talk about graphics drivers and performance and things like that. If I just go out of preferences, if you go up and click this question mark up here for help, and just like me, many of you probably don't go in here very often, but there's a lot of cool things in here. One of them is the graphic diagnostics, and if you click on that one, you actually get this little menu that shows up. All right. Cool. So I just want a quick question. Do you guys see a delay between me talking and what I do on the screen, or is everything looking like it's streaming really well? Just want to know if there's a delay on also the mic. Yes, I can see the chat. JPBKKK1. All right, so in here in the all right, perfect. Everything is good. That's awesome. So let me just go back to that again. So if you hit the question mark up here, there is something called graphic diagnostics. And that will give you, you can see what graphics card I'm using. And this will give you some information in here about what is turned on and not turned on. And things like that you can probably use to troubleshoot things if you need to. Now there is a button down here that is called limit or checkbox, limit effects to optimize performance. I read out on, I think it was the forum, that if you do see lag, try to go in here and check this. So that's probably all I have to offer right now on that subject, but at least just be aware of that is in there. Let's jump back into preferences again here. Hello, Spain. Hello, Germany. Awesome. You guys are great. Cool. Liverpool. Oh, my favorite soccer club right there. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is the offline cache time period. So in default, this is set to 60. So if you're brand new to Fusion 360, what Fusion does is it saves both locally on your computer, but it also saves to the cloud, right? So what you can control in here is how long data is going to be saved on your hard drive. Well, let me just back up a second. You can absolutely save your every single file you're working on to your hard drive, just like you can in any other software. That's maybe just important if you're brand new to this. You can absolutely go up here and you can save out files. You can export them out to your local hard drive. But when Fusion is running, just normally it backs off both to your hard drive and up to the cloud. And like I said, 60 days is the normal period that this will be stored. I changed mine to 90, so that's 3 months. And I, if you and I just changed this because I have the hard drive space. Why not? I am doing so maybe you guys don't know. Hold on, I'm gonna switch back to the camera. Maybe you guys don't know that I also have a Facebook page. And on that Facebook page, I took January off, but what I've been doing is every Saturday morning, I share a quick Fusion 360 tip. Just like a couple of minutes while the family's waking up, I'm drinking my morning coffee. This Saturday, I'm actually going to do one in regards to this whole thing about backing up your data. Because one of the things that was really cool that they did in the latest update was they changed the folder structure over here. Whatever folder structure you have will stay when you go offline mode. So now I'm just want to make sure that I don't go somewhat off topic. But I guess what this means is that the 90 days inside of your preferences is how long your files will be stored on your hard drive automatically. So if you are offline, either by you're traveling to a customer who don't have their Wi-Fi password, or you can't get online, or that there's some kind of a maintenance on the cloud servers, this is what you will see. And they changed the folder structure over here in the latest update, so you can actually, that will be maintained. But more of that on, if you're watching Saturday morning on my Facebook page. Just go to Facebook, search Lars Christensen, and you should find that if you haven't already. Not trying to get too long-winded with this. Also, one checkbox, though, I want to point out here is the automatic version on close. So, as you maybe have figured out already, that Fusion is keeping these different versions. So you could have that it just bumps the version on close. That's kind of neat. The next one is default modeling orientation. That is going to this view cube up here. So the view cube, the upper right, we now got this little triad or gnomon or whatever one you call it. So this one you can control here. So right now it's set to Y on top. If I change it to Z up, and I hit apply, all it means is that when I hit a new design, you will now see that gnomon have changed the way it kind of like works there. I don't think that necessarily is a big deal, but just wanted to show it to you. I got all my different checkboxes checked in here for showing tooltip and all that stuff. You can play around with this. I mean, that's what I would recommend you to do. Pan, zoom, orbit, rotate. So there's a couple of different programs setting here. Now, I came from SolidWorks. So in the beginning, I had mine set to SolidWorks, what means, when you rotate around, you can hold down the middle mouse button versus inside of Fusion or Inventor where you hold also the shift key down. Preferences. But after a little bit of while, I switched over to Fusion and just kind of got used to that. Constraint orbit, that is the same thing you have down here in your menu down here, the drop down in the bottom. You can do a constraint or free orbit. You can play around with that. Don't know, that is very important. All right, let's jump into some of the other gentlemen here. API, I don't know much about all this kind of stuff here. This is way above my knowledge. I wish I did, but now the next one here is the design. This is kind of neat, I think, to just set up the way that you will normally use this. So here I was just looking here. All right, I got some comments about you don't know YouTube online. Well, hey, sorry about that. The one up here, active component visibility. This one, I would probably actually normally check on. Let me show you. With it turned off, this is default. It's not turned on. When you go in, remember this this part here we did in the absolute beginner tutorial. if you go down and you highlight a component, so for example, this last part was a screw. If I activate that component, you should see, oh, is it default by, is it checked by default? Activate component visibility. Let's turn it on. Yes. So this is checked is what it is by default. What that means is that when you select a component, everything else goes transparent. I think, yep. So you can see here, whatever we're selecting here, that component will become visible and the other one becomes transparent. I would probably change that to uncheck, just like I had over in the design over here. So if I uncheck it, now it doesn't go transparent in here, no matter which one you have on in here. Now, the dangerous thing about this, though, is that now you need to be aware of, it can be hard to know what component you have active over here, depending on which one you're working on. If this doesn't really make sense to you, what I'm doing right over here, definitely go on the channel and check out the absolute beginner video if you just open this up and trying to figure out about Fusion. All right, a couple of other things that I think is kind of important in here. I would definitely recommend that you always capture your design history, right? That's what we do down in the bottom of the tree here. Whatever your preferable workspace is when you open up Fusion. So I'm in Model, but if you did a lot of sculpting and things like that, you can have it open up in that. 3D sketching and lines, that's actually going to be a upcoming video, I think. So yeah, not too much in here. I will hammer on. The rendering tab, I really haven't changed anything in here. The cam tab, I should actually check my cloud libraries because they just changed that also inside of Fusion 360, the way that cloud libraries now work, what is really cool. So that, I would definitely check that. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, go and check the latest update from Bryce and Aaron out there. They're talking a little bit about it. Definitely like to show my tool numbers when I'm doing cam. You can play around with the other options in here. Same thing goes for drawings. You can control if you want the standard to come right from the design you're working on, for example, metric or inches, or you want to set the standard in here. So just be aware of that. Materials, I really haven't played much around with this. I think if you're doing a lot of rendering, it probably somewhat makes sense. Same thing with mesh. Inside of the graphics area here, again, if you're having some of these issues with graphics performance, this is maybe where some things need to be tweaked. I would search the forum for help on that for sure. The other network options I have not played around with, data collection and use. So this is probably one some of you guys might just want to check out and read upon in here. Now, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I can't say too much because I don't know too much about all this privacy. One of the things I do know is that Autodesk themselves, as a company, is very aware of what information is captured, and definitely by no means can look at and see what exactly you're working on, and what you're clicking on click by click. It's more about getting feedback that can be used to make the program better. That's at least the intentions from us. And Autodesk have like pretty strict rules. Like we can't just email people without somewhat have had a certain contact with them and things like that. But would definitely appreciate. So if I was you, I would definitely go in and check and see what settings you have in there, just for your kind of like own, I don't know, I want to say safety, but your own peace of mind. But I mean, we definitely appreciate if you will, share with us. Also, like if there's a crash report and things like that, all that stuff helps. A thing that is very is very dear to my heart when it comes to software is units and value display. I think this is very important. So my general precision is set to 5 decimals after. So whenever general precision is set this way, because I'm coming from a machining background, it has always just been a standard that you always work one more decimal than your machine can do. So if you're working on a mill that probably goes out, like, let's say 4 places, you will always set your general precision to be 5 places. So you have that extra piece of kind of like get it, that extra piece in the software to your manufacturing tool in here. So in here you can set all the different settings, how you want Fusion to display all the different things in here. What is your unit displays and all these things here. This is probably also a good place to just kind of like go in and look at that. You do have some default units down here. So my default is set to 2 inches in here. I just want to make sure that you're aware of, though, that at any point when you're working inside of Fusion, you can always go up in here and change your unit on the fly. So you're bringing in some customer file and you suddenly realize that all the dimensions are, metric, and you want them inches. You can literally just go over here and you can just switch it over, and everything switches over on the fly. Another thing that I want to make sure that you know is that whenever you're working, let's go back up here and work inside of the model here. Whenever you're working on some kind of a dimension in here, so now everything, of course, is displayed in inches. Well, it's going to make it look strange. Let's go back to millimeters and do that one more time. All right, so that's 18 millimeters, but be aware of, you can always type in the other value in here. So this one was like 0.7 something. You can always type in like IN, even though we are in metric. If I type in IN, it will automatically convert it to metric. So now it became 19. So just be aware of that. That's kind of nice if you're ever working on somebody else's design, or you're bringing in a file and you're suddenly finding out that it's metric, and you just need to tweak something in inches. Just to be able to write that in there in the dialog is pretty helpful too. The last thing I wanted to show in here before I'll jump back and look at some of the questions and stuff, is the preview option that you'll find inside of the preference. So anybody who did the absolute beginner with this part here, some people ran into an issue with that their constraint colors never changed on their model, and that was because I had this one checked, the sketch color checked in here. So what preview is kind of, if you've ever used any other software, it is kind of like beta. So most CAD softwares out there before Fusion 360 came with an update once a year. But of course they came out with new functions every year. So what they did was, like 3 months before they came out with a new release, they would kind of like create a beta program where people could sign up, and people with special access and don't tell anybody what features could kind of like play with the new features. Well, one of the cool things I think about Fusion is you always have the latest and greatest, right? It just updates on the fly. And what this preview is it is a way for you to see some of these options or these beta components being worked on. So you can go in here and check the different ones, and then have access to them. Now, of course, I will say that these are kind of beta. So there's some quirky things maybe sometimes you can run into, but it's not like it used to be. When I used to work in the SolidWorks channel, that whatever was beta, you never let out of the box. Like, you will never work on anything that you needed for anything because it could corrupt things and things like that. It's not really like that. But you can see I have all mine turned on because I think that I want to have these different features in here. And I really haven't tried any of them really messed up with what I was trying to do. I wish they would make that sketch color, sketch geometry based on constraint status, fully in the product and not have it as a preview option. That is what it is. I'm sure there's some reason for it that I don't know about. Also, be aware of this mesh workspace that is now available inside of Fusion. So if ever you're bringing in an STL file or something like that, then you actually get this mesh workspace, which is really cool. I'm super excited about that because I think that there is a lot of cool things in that. All right, I'm just gonna run quickly down through some of the questions down here, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Hey, Mark, love lathe class in Fresno City College. Mark is a good friend of mine. Good to see you, man. We got Japan, Thailand. Hey, guys, so happy that you guys took the time to join me here. And things on my end in regards to the stream health inside of YouTube shows that everything is running good. So I hope it is on your end too. All right, let's see here. He's trying as hard as he can. That is true. All right, man. Hey, all right. I will appreciate. Thank you, JP KK1, for joining us. It was midnight in Japan, so good night to you. And yes, this will be recorded, so I will definitely make sure this is up on the channel for you guys to see. Alright, so something about the toolbars are taking up a lot of space. I'm not quite sure what that is. Cool, man. Alright, looks like everything is running good. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything for me, definitely, we hit almost a half an hour. Just me yapping away. Definitely throw them in there. I would love to do more of these. I think this is great. I feel like that, now we're a little bit closer than, you can sit at home and we don't really get a chance to interact with one another here. So this is super exciting to me, and I'm definitely thinking that we're going to do some more of those. Just to give you a quick update, my next video that I'm going to be working on, I think, the next video I'm going to be working on, this should be a video, is one where I think I'm going to model up like a drawer, like in your desk. I had a couple of guys who works with wood who were talking about how to do dovetails. And I thought that would be a great sketching thing. But since we're going to do a drawer, we also get to work with assemblies. And so that's kind of like multi-body kind of thing there. So that's going to be the next video that I hope that you guys will find helpful. So I think more, instead of just focusing on sketches, I think I'm going to try to focus a little bit, some of these videos, on a whole model where you can kind of like see the whole workflow, and we'll break it down into some different categories. Because, as a beginner, it doesn't take very long before you need some of the, what they call advanced functions. So maybe we can run into those kind of like easy like that. So that is cool. Do you work for Autodesk, or are you on your own? I work for Autodesk. So I am a technical marketing manager at Autodesk. So yes, I am fully paid by Autodesk. This is my own channel that I do this on. But yes, Autodesk is my employer. Cool, man. Any other questions? Any way to pin the browser bar to the top toolbar? So are you talking about the browser inside of the software here, or are you talking about when you go into a command? Oh, that was a bad well, whatever. That this one here, you want to get this one to stick somewhere. Is that what you mean? I don't know, I'm lost who asked the questions. You can snap it to right over here. So if you hover over here, you get a green, you get a kind of like a green line when you drag it over. I don't know if that shows up on the, you can also drag it over to this side and show up on the on the left side over here. So when you drag the menu, then it'll kind of snap in. That I've actually, but you can get it up here, it looks like. Not what I'm aware of. Actually, I had a guy that just emailed me the other day. You know, you can grab this browser and suddenly that one is loose. So that's what you do. When you drag it and you move it almost like out of the screen, suddenly to the left, you get like a line. Mine is a green. And if you let go of the mouse right there, then it kind of snaps in. All right, man. Got a couple of questions here. Is it possible to scale body components at the end completely? So there is a scaling function right in here. So if you hit the drop down under modify and you hit scale, you can select the entities. I'm assuming you can select them all, just like that. And now we could scale them down. Actually, either uniform or non-uniform. We can scale them down like this. Let's make it 0.5. This is what my screw didn't follow along there. I'm not quite sure why. Yeah, so you can definitely do that. This is great when you're doing 3D printing, for example, or something like that. You can scale things like that. Control Z will undo. That's always good to know. Mr. Doc, how can I mirror the placement of the hole on a box, such as the hole in the exact same position on each side of the box? You know, you can use the mirror command for that. So if you go to your create tab, there is a mirror function. So you could draw one hole and then you could mirror that over. Better workflow on V-carving. I am not quite sure exactly. Are you talking about like if you're doing engraving on a CNC? Is that what you mean when you're talking about V-carving, or is that something else? Dude, email me. Just email me that question. Lars.Christensen at Autodesk.com, and we can take that offline. Cool, guys. I'm gonna end it here. Really, so thankful all you guys. We have like 56 people here. This is awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to join this. My first live stream, real live stream, and I will throw another one up next week. It's not gonna be next Thursday because I think I have a lunch with one of my Danish friends who lives here in upstate New York. But maybe do something like Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that. So definitely look out for that. The recording of this will be up on the YouTube channel too. And as always, I love your comments and suggestions and questions down in the comment area of all the videos. You know, if you like these, do the thumbs up. If you don't, hey, do the thumbs down. I mean, you know, give me the feedback. Bad or good, that's fine. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time to jump in here today. And until the next time, thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. And hopefully I'll see you again soon.